You know the day destroys the night, night divides the day. Try to run, try to hide, break on through to the other side, break on through to the other side, break on through to the other side, yeah.
And here we are at the front door to the Whisky A Go Go, and this is the spot where I would come to between sets in a dumpy little club we played in down the street. And Mario, the doorman, would be here, and I'd say, "How's it going?" And he'd say SOS, which was an abbreviation for same old shit.
I remember the Doors there when they came, Ray Manzarek, Jim Morrison. When they first came in there, it was like a carnival music. But I liked it, and my son enjoyed it. I just liked the music.
We became the house band here. At the time the whiskey was in transition, there used to be cages on either side of the stage for the go-go girls. That was sort of the Johnny Rivers phase, and we sort of jump-started the psychedelic era. So we were the house band for everybody. Frank Zappa and the Mothers, the Byrds, Van Morrison, Buffalo Springfield, and our goal was to blow them all off stage. So this is Mecca, and in the back of these booths where Steve McQueen would be sitting, or Warren Beatty, or Timothy Leary, or Andy Warhol. The go-go era was strange because we would play a dark song like The End, and they'd be going, "Oh, okay, maybe we ought to dance freeform. This is weird." So it was a great time and a great transitional period. And Morrison turned around. He stopped facing us, which he did in rehearsal for security. And then all the girls saw what a beautiful Michelangelo statue of David he was, and the rest is history.
Well, we had cages in there with girls dance between sets. We used to have 2 shows a night, the same group, but 2 shows. 9 and 11 o'clock or 11:30. And they went along pretty good. And the girls, of course, would dance in the cages and spin records, and that's a go-go.
The Doors at the Whisky A Go Go, right up the street from where we are here. Our very first week was them. Van Morrison and Jim Morrison on stage at the same time at the Whisky A Go Go. And I don't want to tell you how much it cost. It cost nothing. You know, it was a couple of bucks to get in and 1 drink, you know. And you could watch Van Morrison with them, Jim Morrison and the Doors. And the very last night we jammed together. We did Gloria. The Morrison boys were singing Gloria, man. I'll never forget it.
And here's the world-famous Whisky A Go Go on the Strip, a favorite dancing spot for both the mods and movie stars who want to get it on. Let's drop in and see what's happening tonight.
Know that it would be untrue. You know that I would be a liar if I was to say to you, girl, we couldn't get much higher. Come on, baby, light my fire. Come on, baby, light my fire. Try to set the night on fire. Time to hesitate is through. No time to wallow in the mire. Try now, we can only lose, and our love become a funeral pyre. Come on, baby, light my fire. Come on, baby, light my fire. Try to set the night on fire. Yeah, yeah. time to hesitate is through. No time to wallow in the mire. Try now, we can only lose, and our love become a funeral pyre. Come on, baby, light my fire. Come on, baby, light my fire. Try to set the night on fire. Know that you would be untrue, yeah. Know that I would be a liar if I was to say to you, girl, we couldn't get much higher. Come on, baby, light my fire. Come on, baby, light my fire. Try to set the night on 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 fire.
It's easy to forget that the classic acts we know today weren't always famous. The legacy of the Whisky A Go Go is that it gave future superstars a stage to develop their signature sound in front of a live audience. The best example of that might be my own experience with The Doors, when we played what turned out to be our last gig at LA's famous Temple of Rock. It was a Thursday night, first set, very few people in the club, late summer of 1966. Jim misses the first set. John and Robbie and I go on stage and do some blues, a little jazz stuff. And at the end of the set, Phil Tanzini, one of the owners of the Whiskey, comes up to us and says, "Hey, I booked 4 guys. The Doors are supposed to be 4 guys. Says, you better have Morrison here for that second set, or you guys are going to be in big trouble." John and Robbie and I just jump in John's VW bus and we go find Morrison, and he's at the Tropicana Hotel where he kept a room, and guess what? He's stoned on LSD. We bring him back to the Whiskey in time for the second set, and everything's going good. The club is filled with people. The people are dancing. Second or third song into the set, Morrison says, "Let's do the end." I said, "Oh, Jim, it's like we do the end of the set. It's called the end." He said, "No, man, I want to do the end." So we start the end, and the people just love it. And girls are doing that kind of hand dancing that they did. We're going along, and then the song gets soft in the middle of it, and Jim does an improvisation for the first time. A part John and Robbie and I had never heard before, coming out of some strange acid state. But John and Robbie and I are following him, and Jim starts to say, "The killer awoke before dawn. He put his boots on."
He put his boots on. He took a face from the ancient gallery and he
walked on down the hallway, baby. The Whisky A Go Go is being hypnotized by the delivery of Jim Morrison. The waitresses stop serving, the dancers stop dancing, even the go-go girls in their cages, and they're paid to dance. They even stop dancing. And then Jim finally gets to the end of that improvisation and he says, "Father?"
"Yes, son, I want to kill you."
I thought, oh my God, Jim, don't do it. No, please don't do it. He's gonna do Oedipus Rex. And sure enough, Jim says, "Mother, I want to," and he shouts out the F word with all the gusto he possibly can. John and Robbie and I assault our instruments, and the frozen Whisky A Go Go comes back to life. We play the set, and we get off the stage, and people are just mesmerized, screaming, loving the whole thing, except for Phil Tanzini, who rushes upstairs and says to us, "You, Morrison, are the filthiest guy on this planet. You can't say that about your mother. Not on the stage of the Whisky A Go Go. You're fired." Wisely, Robbie says to him, "Phil, it's a Thursday night.
you want us to play the weekend, or are we fired right now? And Phil says, oh yeah. No, you play the weekend, you're fired on Sunday. And that was it for the Whisky A Go Go.
This is